For 2 years, one website sold over $1 billion in drugs, in plain sight. And no government on earth could find the man behind it. He called himself the Dread Pirate Roberts. A name, a mask, a ghost. Until one quiet afternoon, inside a public library, the mask finally came off. Beneath the internet you use every day lies a second, hidden one. You reach it through a browser called Tor, which wraps your identity in layers of encryption. No names. No locations. No trace. The perfect place to disappear. And in 2011, a 26-year-old idealist decided to build an empire there. His name was Ross Ulbricht. Brilliant, soft-spoken, a physics graduate from Texas. He was a libertarian, who believed people should buy and sell anything, free of government. So he built a marketplace where they could. Anonymous. Run on Bitcoin. Untraceable. To seed it, he even grew his own first batch of illegal mushrooms in a cabin. He called his creation the Silk Road. And he opened its doors in February. At first it was a whisper, passed between strangers on hidden forums. Then a single news article exposed it to the world, and the floodgates burst open. Soon there were tens of thousands of listings. Drugs from every country on earth. Buyers and sellers rated each other with stars, like an eBay for narcotics. Hidden couriers slipped the packages into the ordinary mail, invisible in plain sight. At its peak, the Silk Road moved more than $1.2 billion. And every single sale paid a quiet commission to one hidden owner. That owner went by a name borrowed from a movie. The Dread Pirate Roberts. In the film, the pirate is never one man. The identity is passed down, so he never dies. Ross chose it on purpose. The world believed it hunted a faceless legend. It had no idea it was chasing one quiet young man, alone with a laptop. He wrote long manifestos to his users, preaching freedom from a watching state. To thousands, he was a hero. A digital Robin Hood of the new frontier. But an empire built on secrets attracts threats from every shadow. First, one of his own staff was arrested by police. Ross feared the man knew too much, and could bring the whole empire down. Then a blackmailer appeared, threatening to leak the names of every user. And the soft-spoken idealist made the choice that would define him forever. Prosecutors say the Dread Pirate Roberts ordered murders, paid for in Bitcoin. To make his problems disappear, the hero had become something far darker. But here lies the twist no one saw coming. Some of those murders were never real. They were staged. Staged by corrupt federal agents who were secretly working the very same case. A DEA agent and a Secret Service agent, quietly stealing the Bitcoin for themselves. They faked a death, pocketed the ransom, and let Ross believe the blood was on his hands. It was lies, stacked upon lies, in a war where no one wore a white hat. The FBI threw everything at his anonymity, and for months, they got nothing. So one investigator tried something almost laughably simple. He went back in time. He searched for the very first mentions of the Silk Road, in its earliest days. There, on an old forum, a user named Altoid had been the first to promote the site. And in another post, that same user had asked for coding help. He signed it with a personal email address. rossulbricht@gmail.com. In one careless line, years earlier, the ghost had written down his own real name. October 1st, 2013. San Francisco. A bright, ordinary afternoon. Ross sat in the science fiction section of a small public library. On his screen, he was logged in, live, as the Dread Pirate Roberts himself. Plainclothes agents had quietly surrounded him among the shelves. Then, just feet away, a couple suddenly exploded into a screaming argument. Ross turned to look. And in that single unguarded second, they struck. Agents seized his open laptop before his fingers could ever reach the keys. Caught red-handed, signed in as the most wanted man on the dark web. That open laptop was a confession. It held everything. Diaries, ledgers, chat logs, and the keys to 144,000 bitcoins. The trial was swift, and the verdict was absolute. Guilty, on every count. In 2015, Ross Ulbricht was sentenced to double life in prison. Plus 40 years. No chance of parole. For building a website, he would never go home again. It was meant to be a final, terrifying message to everyone on the dark web. But the story of the dread pirate Roberts was not over yet. For more than a decade, a movement fought for him, calling the sentence monstrous. His mother led the fight, year after year, never once giving up. And then, in January 2025, the impossible happened. The President of the United States granted Ross Ulbricht a full pardon. After 11 years behind bars, the dread pirate Roberts walked free. The Silk Road proved one person, with code and conviction, could build an empire in the dark. And that no shadow is ever quite dark enough to hide in forever. This was Cyber Files. Stay in the light.